To lie or not to lie? Does it sound like a familiar question? Pretty much similar to the famous Shakespearean quote, to be or not to be. Well, it's a dilemma that I think we all face. Is there anybody here who hasn't faced this dilemma? Whether to? Is there anyone here who is comfortable telling a lie? I don't see any hands being raised, so which is quite natural. I think if I were to be asked that question, I also would have come up with the same question. I can't raise my hand because it is really a kind of conflict. We don't really. It's really difficult to answer, but we generally associate telling lie as with a stigma. We don't really like to tell lie. At least we don't really want to admit that we lie. But is there anybody here who hasn't lied in their lives? I think it's a silly question because probably I think I should be asking how many lies do we tell on an average on a daily basis?
Had you asked me that question on 1st April, I would have said yes.
Which question?
On 1st April, we should ask.
Thank God it's not the 1st April. Yeah. But anyway, so maybe that will be the biggest lie of the day then. So that is the dilemma that we all face, to lie or not to lie. But actually there is nothing new to this dilemma or this conflict. This is something that humans have been facing since times immemorial. We can see different episodes of this kind of conflict that man has faced in our epics and so on. I will show you a video now. It's actually a nice video which probably you might like. It's a bit long, but I think you won't feel boring with that. It's actually a tale from Mahabharata. You know, the war of Kurukshetra is considered to be the grand finale of Mahabharata. So this is actually an episode from Mahabharata. To be precise, the 15th day of the war. In the battlefield or in the war field, you see the Kauravas and Pandavas, the ones who stand for Dharma and Adharma. They are actually competing with each other. And Dronacharya has been wreaking havoc on the battlefield. You know, the battle or the war ended in 18 days. So this is day number 15. And let's see what happens on the day.
आज के आचार्य ध्रुव को युद्ध में कोई पराजय नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि सारे नियमों का पालन करते हुए आज के आचार्य ध्रुव को कोई युद्ध में पराजित नहीं कर सकता। धर्म की रक्षा के लिए यदि धर्मेतर का सहयोग भी लेना पड़े तो उसमें कोई क्षति नहीं। धर्म की विजय के लिए आचार्य की पराजय अनिवार्य है। और ये मान लो बात कि धर्म का पालन कभी अधर्म नहीं हो सकता। बस एक ही उपाय है पाप। आचार्य ध्रुव को यह विश्वास दिलवाना पड़ेगा कि अश्वत्थामा वीर गति को प्राप्त हुआ है। ये शोक उनसे सहन नहीं हो पाएगा और वे धनुष रख देंगे। उस गजराज का नाम आप जानते हैं वज्र भैया?
इसका नाम अश्वत्थामा है वासुदेव। युधिष्ठिर की ओर ले चलो। धनराज युधिष्ठिर, मुझे सत्य चाहिए। क्या ये सत्य है कि मेरे पुत्र अश्वत्थामा का वध हो गया? अश्वत्थामा भगाएगी।
So I hope you all enjoyed the video. How was it? Does it? Do you find it to be a kind of nostalgic seeing this kind of video? Especially people of my generation might feel a bit nostalgic because this was a big thing in those days, in the early 90s, and we used to run behind or run to our neighbors to watch this at 9 a.m. in the morning. So, what is your taking from this video? So basically, if you take this into in isolation, if you just take this this small clip, video clip, probably you might think that Yudhishthira. Did you hear what Yudhishthira said that? And why did Drona went to Yudhishthira? In fact, Bhima announced that he just killed Ashwatthama, but Drona didn't really believe that. Drona said, "Sarathi, let's go to Yudhishthira." Why was that? Exactly. So Drona had the confidence that because he is also a tutor, the guru of all this, both Kauravas and Pandavas. Right? So he was confident that Yudhishthira is one person whom he can rely. And what did Yudhishthira say? Did he live up to his guru's expectation? He didn't actually, right? He actually, what he said was, I don't know whether you all got it. He said, Ashwatthama Hada Narodi Kunjarodi. Means, I don't know whether it is a man or an elephant, but Ashwatthama is dead. But then the second part he actually told in a very low voice that Drona couldn't have heard that. So, and Drona really believed that, and then he laid down his arms, and then he started meditating, and then the opposition or the Pandavas got a chance to kill him. So if you take this this particular clip into isolation, then what we think is that what Yudhishthira said was really a lie, and that is something which we actually are very uncomfortable with, isn't it? Is anybody feeling happy that Yudhishthira told that he actually let down the faith that his own guru had in him? Does it give you a nice feeling? No, right? Yeah. That is where you actually have to rewind a few seconds before, wherein Krishna was actually giving the reason or the justification why it is acceptable to tell a lie. If you look at things in a holistic view, if you take things into the holistic or into the macro level, what Krishna said was to defeat the adharma and to install dharma, you may need to make certain sacrifices. And in this case, the sacrifice that Yudhishthira makes is to tell a lie, which is actually something very uncharacteristic of Yudhishthira. So essentially, this is the essence of actually telling lies. So there are situations in our lives wherein we are actually forced to tell lies, but many of those lies are actually justified. So a well-crafted lie is better than a harsh truth to sustain a business. That's our topic. Why people lie? So I think our next presenter is going to explain that.
Thank you, Neem, for giving us a small insight of that vast Mahabharata. So we just saw that story that a person who never said a lie was forced to say a lie for keeping the dharma. So we all lie, precisely in every 10 minutes. That is some researches I found in the Google. So I just want, sir, your wife, just imagine your wife was cooking for you tonight. And she, with all her love, she prepared food for you. So, and it didn't turn out to be as good as she planned. So what you will be, when she asks, so how is the food, what will be your answer?
It depends.
I didn't expect that answer from you. But you might say it's good, but something a positive answer will be you will be giving up. I hope so. Yeah. So that is for love. That is something called white lie, which we crafted unintentionally to make our loved person to be happy. So this is a conversation between a father and a child. So the father is lying to a child like it's good, and the child is becoming happy. Or the father is asking, and the child is asking you, will live forever, right, daddy? Then he's saying, yeah, it's for keeping them young. So that is a white lie. So our team will be showing you a play to show a conversation between a manager and an employee during an appraisal period. I'm sure you all can relate to that situation. Let's see.
Hello, Vikram. May I?
Yeah, come in. Take your seat, Priya.
Thank you.
So I hope you know why you are here.
Yes, thank you for the appraisal discussion.
Good. So how would you evaluate yourself for this year?
I think I've worked pretty well this year.
Good, good. So what are your expectations for this year?
I'm expecting a good performance band, and I think I've been working here for 3 years, so I guess I can ask for an onset
Oh.
opportunity.
Is it good, good? Exactly. That's what we expect from like young aspiring minds of 3 years who's expecting on-site. That's great.
Thank you.
So there's a good news for you. So we have been, our management decision is that you have been allocated for a project in San Francisco for the
Oh,
Bureau
really?
Radar test.
Yeah.
So first of all, congratulate
Thank you so much. That's a very exciting news.
Yes, yeah. Then, so that in that sense, like we are helping you a promotion because since you are moving to different allocation, right? So we can't give that promotion.
Oh, okay.
So and probably I can guarantee you that with that allocation, with that project, you will be getting the promotion. So you have to wait for the 6 months time. And by the time you can take this challenging opportunity that is in the on-site in 6 months, that is waiting for you.
So I guess it's a matter of 6 months.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
what it
Of
is.
course, yes, we can tag that and we can give promotion after that 6 months. That's no
That's
issues.
good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Yeah, Sumit, I have very exciting news.
What happened?
My manager just called me for an appraisal discussion. And you know what he offered me? You know? An on-site opportunity. That too in San Francisco.
That's so great.
Thank you.
So, what about your appraisal?
I think he has held it for a while because he'll be giving it along with the on-site opportunity.
Okay. Anyway, congrats.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we just.
Hey Vikram.
Hi,
How was it?
Fine.
You had your employee dialogue discussion with
Just now I had an employee dialogue discussion with her. Yeah.
Oh.
I told her that she will be tagged to the on-site project because we are waiting for the Bureau Veritas project.
But you know that we are not getting that project.
It's okay because we have to retain her. You know that
She
she's.
won't be able to go on site.
That's fine because she's an ambitious girl. You know that. We want to retain her in our project. So if you tell that, she will get dejected and demotivated. You know the retention policy of the company is happening there. So it's good. For the time being, we will see that. That is better.
Oh, right. That's a very good move.
That's good. I feel so.
So we just saw the two sides of the coin. So the manager was actually motivating the employee for the organization benefit, and the employee was getting motivated, and that in effect will bring a good profit to our organization. And if what that manager didn't motivate, and if that appraisal was cut and right and was informed to the employee, what would be the reaction? Let's see. The employee was sad, and the employee didn't work well because he didn't get the appraisal what he expected. So that is what is happening. Like we are lying to sustain. Maybe we are lying for our organization as in a business. So we are lying for our happiness or our loved ones' happiness. So I'll move on to Meka will give you more insight on the topic.
Thank you, Sumit. Hello, everyone. Now that you have listened to a story from Mahabharata and you have seen something that happened in an IT firm, now let's see what happened recently in the newspapers. These are some of the headlines from some of the major newspapers in India which came out on March 21st of this year. I'm sure most of you might have read this article, but I'm going to give you a quick background. 4 years ago, in 2014, 40 of the Indian construction workers were abducted by the Islamic State from Mosul in Iraq. Since then, there was no news about 39 of these men. But a few days ago, the External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj confessed in the Parliament that 39 of them were dead. Since then, she has been facing facing conflicts from or criticisms from all the corners, especially from her rivals. But the real criticism started from the story of the 40th of these men who came back on 2014 claiming that he had escaped and the rest 39 had been executed. So, our question is, why did the Ministry of External Affairs continuously chose not to believe his testimony? Or was it the other way around? Do you believe that the government already knew about this and was lying? Let's park those thoughts for a while and see what happened next. Grabbing this opportunity, the opposition came into picture. They saw that the minister is being criticized from all the corners, and they saw the media is roaring about the failure of the government. So they thought this is the right time to ask this question. They came up with an opinion poll which asked a yes or no question. Do you think the death of the 39 Indians in Iraq is Sushma Swaraj's biggest failure as a foreign minister? This was the act of the opposition party in this situation. But surprisingly or interestingly, Sushma Swaraj did not fall for this. You know what her immediate reaction was? She retweeted the same opinion poll link on her Twitter account because she wanted to know what people thought about this. She wanted to know whether the people believed what she did was wrong. So before you think about the answer or before you wait for the results, we have 2 points for you. Point number 1, it is very hard to believe that the government of India was not aware of the fact that all these 39 people were not alive. Point number 2, when the 40th member of this group came back and told that 39 of them were killed, Sushma Swaraj blamed him saying that he was lying. So maybe that is the reason why opposition thought this is the right time to kick him and say that or prove that in fact it was the government who was lying. So before we move on to the next slide, what do you think would have been the result of this opinion poll? Suppose 100 people took this opinion poll. How many of them would have given a yes to this question? If you do not know the actual answer, can you give a wild guess?
Wild guess, right? You can give
Okay, let's see. Amidst all these, when she retweeted, 76% of the people believed that Sushma Swaraj, what Sushma Swaraj did was right. And only 24% people thought the other way around. You may all have contrary thoughts. You may think that government has done this for their own, they have their own reasons for doing this. Some of them might think that they have given false hope to the family. We understand. You all will have contrary thoughts about this. But in our democratic country, this was the result of the opinion poll that came out. And so, we believe that our External Affairs Minister, who is often known for her diplomatic skills, has made a point here. So, on contrary to our conventional wisdom, we think that the people have believed that government has told a lie. Now, leaving it all for your thoughts, let's have Sharath to continue our presentation.
So once again, very good afternoon to all. So now the baton is on to my side. So is it look weird that telling lies is something the great that you are pretends to be or you thinks to be? It's not like that. We are fabricating a lie to sustain something or to survive. We are fabricating a lie. Is it something that to doing an unpleasant truth or being an unpleasant honesty will sustain something? We fabricate something and fabricate a lie, and thus we sustain in our every organization, in every business. Right from childhood, a child lies to his father, father lies to his child. Child lies that I have this. See, you have heard about the Johnny S. Papa poem. He lies in there. The father asks whether are you lying, whether you have sugar. So right from the childhood, the child inculcates the lie to sustain, so that he will not get scolded by the father. And then the same thing, the father or the mother who feeds the child, who doesn't want to eat the foods, then the mother will fabricate a story that something will happen if you are not having the food, or if you want to be Superman, you have to have this food. Is it that lie? That's the lie that mother tells to his son. Is it really he becomes Superman? It's just that the child have to eat the food. Right from the beginning, and in organization, in everywhere we fabricate the lies. So enjoy the life and enjoy the life by fabricating. It's not that we are not against, like, yeah, that's what. Okay. So here comes the big lie that organizations, that what you might have, at least you got some idea what we have did the role playing here over there. So we lie, the manager lies, the boss lies, the client lies, everyone lies to sustain the business. It's not that they're lying for a purpose, they're lying for a business to happen or business to work on. So, and I would recall the instance, like you might have seen the movie Drishyam movie, all might have seen that, like how the family have fabricated a lie. Would you imagine, like, if they were honest or if they were confessed to the police, they would have been survived? They fabricated lie. We are not telling that, we are just glorifying that what they have done is right or not. The crime is crime, but they just fabricated the lie. They just protected the family, and thus they sustained in the business. And like how the presentation began with the Mahabharata, like Yudhishthira once asked Krishna, like, इस संसार के सबसे बड़ा व्यंग क्या है? मतलब, what is the biggest irony in this world? So what the Krishna told is that इस संसार के सबसे बड़ा व्यंग ये है कि जो ये लोग करना वो चाहता है कि ये लोग वो करता है कि वो सचमुच में नहीं करता, करना चाहता है. मतलब the people will do those things which actually they don't want to do. And like in Sanskrit, Nabrayot Satyam Apriyam. It's always good to say lie rather than unpleasant or truth. That's all.
Right, so over to your questions.
I'm not quite convinced that we can never judge what is right and wrong, right? See, your right is my wrong, my right is your wrong.
Exactly.
So if your right is my wrong and your right, my right is your wrong, then if I lie, it might hurt you. If you lie, it might hurt me, right? So telling a lie, for one person it's beneficial, for the other person it's not.
I think your question contains the answer also.
So, yeah. So, what is a white lie, and how can we differentiate that a particular lie is for dharma? Because dharma is not for everyone. Like your dharma is different, my dharma is different, right? So, in each of these examples, I'm not quite convinced that lying is good.
I understood your question. The reason why you think dharma is your dharma is different from my dharma is because you are actually looking into a smaller perspective of what is dharma and what is adharma. If you take a macro and holistic look, then actually dharma and adharma are actually two different things. That is what I was actually showing in the Mahabharata epic. Because when you reach that stage, we already actually when you start the Kurukshetra war, then actually probably that is the turning point. Maybe all the adharma and dharma have been defined on that day. And so at that point, the decision is going to be those 18 days of war, which is supposed to actually decide whether dharma prevails over adharma or the vice versa. So if you look into Mahabharata as a whole, then actually you understand that dharma is somewhere and adharma is somewhere else. But I understand if you take it out of that holistic equation and then look into a specific situation, then probably you are right. One person's dharma may be different from another person's dharma. And also exactly to answer that question, I think your question also contains an answer that your satya or your truth may be somebody else's truth, which is true. So that's why we are saying it's not really a black and white fact that we are saying here. It actually depends on a lot of circumstances. And also we are not saying that every truth is really a great thing to do. There are certain situations wherein telling a lie is much better than telling the truth. The situation that we have seen now, for example, in the employee dialogue, the actual truth is that she is not going to get a promotion. But to sustain the business, actually the manager actually did a kind of did something for the benefit of the organization.
Yeah,
But
it's going to
he has a responsibility to the employee as well, right?
Yeah.
I think we have to distinguish between
in the long run.
I'm sorry?
Does it help in the long run?
Time span matters. That long run
Actually, situations can change,
Yeah.
right?
No,
If the
I think
employee
We
is
don't
motivated-
know after 6 months what will happen.
No,
No,
I
I
think
think
it
employee
depends.
gets
It's
motivated.
finally find it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day she can find it out, but when the employee gets motivated, she'll work hard, and who knows, the situation can change in 6 months.
Who knows, the situation might not.
Situation
Might
might
not
not
change.
change.
Okay.
I think we have to distinguish between two
The
things.
situation
One
was
is
that situation in which she wanted a motivation, so because she was expecting an appraisal, so
See,
she
the
wanted
manager
an
liked because he wanted to sustain. He wanted to sustain that company.
No, I think
At the same time,
I think we have to distinguish in two things.
No,
I think you showed it very well.
It's useful.
I think
In
the
that situation, she is getting motivated with that, and
No,
it is
yeah, no, one
Yeah,
second.
Gautam.
Yeah, I think you showed it pretty well. There are two things over there, right? I mean, first you showed lie for a dharma,
Yeah.
right? It may impact the other person, but you are doing for the overall good, right? A white lie is something which is not doing for dharma.
Exactly.
White lie is something which it's a casual lie. It's not going to harm anyone. But the initial lie may harm the other person, but it's for the overall dharma.
Spite of
I think there are two types of lies.
But
That's what
as far as
they
the
said.
organizational side of things, yes, I think there's that integrity that we need to look at. A manager who is feels so comfortable saying a lie, knowing, and I thought that's just lack of integrity.
See,
that
we are
should
not
be-
telling that.
But I felt, as if she is, the manager is administering her some kind of a drug, stimulating drug so that she will work forever, It's as simple as that. It should
So the point is, supposing the manager would have been open with her and
Yeah.
told her that the company is going through a tough phase. Okay,
Correct.
we need your
So
support.
let us actually
No,
now
but
put
I
the-
can finish. The company is going through a tough phase. We need your support. You being such a valued employee, we value your services. We need you for this trying phase. If the company was so open with her, don't you think she would have still been motivated?
Right. So I think that is where the context actually matches. If you listen to their conversation, the first line itself was that this is an employee. The manager knows that she has been expecting an on-site placement for a long time. That is something that she keeps on requesting. And the manager, as of today, manager cannot give her an on-site opportunity. And the manager is unable to give her a promotion also this time, which is also another requirement. And the manager has actually taken a right decision by giving the promotion to the right person. He knows that she, as of now, she doesn't deserve the promotion. But he actually, instead of directly telling her that you don't deserve a promotion right now and you are not going to get a on-site trip in 6 months. What he actually does is tactfully, he actually motivates her by telling a lie, which actually, if she actually continues to work for those 6 months with the same motivation, probably she might improve her performance, and then she might actually be deserving and getting a promotion and also a foreign trip.
The other
That
side
is
is
the- that
an
is the-
organization that encourages the manager to say something like that is a sign to me a lack of integrity within the organization. If that is okay,
The last
it is okay to tell the client a lie, it is okay to tell everyone lies to keep it in
It's a lack of- our situation is an organization which is not really encouraging the manager. So actually, I was actually surprised that Vikram told that to Ria. So you might have seen that in the last part of the conversation. I am actually the reporting manager of Vikram, and then I was surprised why Vikram told a lie to Ria. But then Vikram took that actually as a calculated risk. He knows that Ria has been in a particular situation, and he knows Ria much more than me or anybody else in the organization. And that is why he took that calculated risk, evaluating both the possibilities. Then I was actually quite impressed with it.
And we are assuring that after 6 months you may get promotion. We won't saying that you won't get promotion.
But
It's
it's
times-
debatable.
times
It
change.
is debatable.
It is debatable.
It is debatable.
I think let's not get into the nitty-gritty of whether that particular situation was important or not. You have to look at a larger perspective. If we are lying just to sustain, and if the lie doesn't harm others, then probably it's okay to do that. And in fact, it is a strategy. It's a survival strategy. But where is that fine line between survival and greed? Let us take the example of Enron, right? What happened there. If it is just a survival, if the company is not doing well, but just alter that situation, the same thing happened in an organization that, which is doing well, could have promoted, but, there are other issues. So, and that gives, brings back to the question that whether being open is better than being opaque. Because sometimes people, in order to avoid conflict, tell lies. But then, on the other hand, we see that conflict is the way of life. If you do not have that, openness may create direct conflict upfront immediately, but it actually helps you bring long-term goal, that you can solve that. But so these are the things that you need to really
And
strict.
the question that Sumi was asking you about that about the food that your wife has prepared. Actually, that is an example too. In that also, actually, we can, if you extend this truth and lie to a certain level, probably you might be not just. It may be difficult for you to justify telling your wife that it is.
Or you can also
this,
tell
this
in a
is
very
exactly
nice way.
when I don't know if you came across this news that says that man files for a divorce because his wife doesn't cook well. Right? So he was being very honest and all those things, but the question is that how well you are connected to that individual. When you are connected, then it is all fine. Right? But when you are not connected, that's when you feel like, okay, what the heck, this. The question is then, getting married does not necessarily mean you become partner. Right? When you invest in people, that's when, a lie is a soother. You soothe people, right? Even when you do, so suppose I buy a gift for her and she doesn't like that, would she say, yes or no? That also depends on the kind of rapport. I do say that, this is not what I like. Because now that, and I would not have said that, at the first year of my marriage. So I didn't have that confidence and rapport with her, right? But 5 years down the line, I now know that, even when I say that, I don't like this, that doesn't mean that, I am devaluing her, let's say, her feeling or her love for me. It's just that I'm being very honest. Right. So these are the things I think we need to also segregate, because then all of us would notice that, that over time when there's confidence in a relationship, we tend to be more open. Right, obviously then there are situations like, it's a very critical situation. Often we lie about someone's critical health condition and all those things. So those are something different. So again, the topic was that well-crafted lie is better than harsh truth to sustain a business. Right? The sustainability is a very different thing. If it is only for sustainability, then it is okay. And that happens in the very beginning when you are well established. Now, just see, take a difference between Reliance and other company. With all due respect, and we know the insider stories too. Reliance keep on lying. That's not sustainability. That's pure greed. Right? As opposed to, let's say, Tatas. Even the Tatas are no Yudhishthir, but it's all relative. So between these two, who would you choose and why? So again, lying, help you because, to sustain. But after a point, if you continue to lie, then the question of sustainability comes. How far can you reach? But then, there are a lot of questions about that.
So I'd like to know your take on the Sushma Swaraj's case about she lying. So around 33,000 people voted in that. The numbers, even I would vote, but I'm not directly related to them. I think it only affects the 39 people and their families. So they are the people who are actually affected by lies or truth or whatever it is.
So I'm glad that you brought that issue. Yes, it also depends on you see whether we are valuing, we are evaluating truth value, or we are looking at our political alignment. If I'm, say, a BJP supporter, I might just get blind and said whatever she has done is right. Right? Your political affiliation would also determine the answer, but that doesn't mean that either you are okay with lying or not lying. Again, this actually shows, as you said, the 39 people and their family. So in this case also, it matters which side of the camp you belong to. So when you are directly connected to, say, the right wing or BJP, that kind of thing, that's when you think that's right. Lying is right. But if you belong to, if your political association is with others or not with them, then you don't think that's right. So it all depends on that result would also indicate who are these people who took part. What is their association with these things. Those. So getting into that would become a very complex thing. But yes, as they have pointed out, lying is integral part of our existence. Often we ask our kids to be honest, but I think it is also important to tell them to be strategic.
Sir, I was just reminded of a quote. I'm just reading it out loud. Most of you may already know this. So it's as this: when enough people make false promises and words stop meaning anything, then there are no more answers, only better lies. So what is your take on this?
Well, for that requires another debate. Yeah, but I guess you see, whether we agree or we disagree, these topics actually enable us to talk about the issues that, sometimes we don't. Often, we are told to be honest, morally very high, truthful, but being brutally truthful does not really help us. Right? And, even when I tell my kid to be honest, and I really need to tell her on that, it's okay to lie sometimes. Because I have done that too. And because sometimes we don't even have to tell that, they pick up. This is a survival instinct. We all do. So the degree, but now the intention of that lie would determine, the dharma. What is the larger context? Are you doing it just for sustainability for your own? It is for somebody else's cause, or it has a bad intention. The intention would also determine the viability or the sustainability of truth. And in business too, we often do that. For what we do, it also has to be contextualized, as they have pointed out. All right, let's take a quick break here.
Sir, in an evolutionary point of view also, the people who do not even like to survive, they are usually struck down and they die. Their genes are naturally deselected.
Yes, therefore, precisely, so lies is a strategy.
Lie and fear have been the greatest enablers of evolution.
You can see that how Hitler was successful. Keep on lying and lying. At one point, he was the strongest, and he came to know that he is invincible.
But then, that is the example that I would take for, say, Reliance today. They are doing very well, but the country is in danger. Right? And similarly, in the hand of Hitler, they were doing for some period pretty well, right? But then they had to redo, and now you ask any German, how they think about this particular thing. They have done a tremendous job to rectify their mistakes. So these are the things that we also have to look for and have to understand from that. Whether lie, simply saying that lie is bad, be are truthful, does not help. But our education system has to also tell these things. These are facts of life. We don't necessarily tell these things saying that when you don't tell your kids to be manipulative. Well, sometimes even being manipulative is okay, because you learn how to really safeguard yourself. That's okay. You need to, being truthful, brutally honest doesn't help. She says, see all those things. In fact, there's a greater debate on that with my week. I would not open that Pandora's box now, because it will not end. Anyway, so let's take a break here. Come back in 10-15 minutes, and then we'll see.
Referring to Reliance, do we actually mention about lie, or do we say like cheating or going on the corruption? Are we referring to that?
They're
in general, right?
these are generalized into
All
lie,
into
you know. But yeah, obviously you have to. In 20 minutes, you cannot really dig out all those things, right? So, you know, let's not go into corruption and all those things. It's never ending. So there are different gradation of lies too, you know. So that gradation you would also have to consider.
I think the role play is very good. Role play is good. I think it was a surprise package. We never thought we can do role play in a presentation. But is it okay to do topic presentations or role play?
No, so I was going to comment on that. You know, if it is a corporate presentation, so, you know, role play is not okay. But if it's a part of a training,